Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shai, Shem Rakakwadash, and I want to say Shalom, Yakunakwat out there, pursuing this truth diligently, coming at you once again with another lesson. And this is another edition of What Does It Really Mean? And today, the word is covet, all right, or covetous, or coveted, right, all related to that word. So the opening scripture, all right, that we're going to get is, of course, the first usage of it, which is in Exodus 20 in verse 17. And it reads, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's." Okay, so you're not supposed to covet any of their things. All right, you're supposed to not be covetous, right? In plain, don't covet, right? And in this case, neighbor's house, all right, not his wife, not his manservant, maidservant, so none of his female or male slaves, none of his animals, all right? So nothing, all right? Nothing at all. But what is covetous, all right? What does covetous mean? All right, and bear with me just one moment. What does covetousness mean, though? What is it? All right, that's the big point. What does it mean? Because you can hear the word over and over and over again, but if you don't know what it means, you're not going to get the understanding. So we have quite a few different scriptures here that either use the word covet or coveted or covetous or covetousness, and we're going to go into them because they're all a little bit different. As you can see, they're all a little bit different. All right, so the first occurrence is H25 and 30, as we're going to see down here. Covet, H25 and 30, the word hamad, all right, or hamad. All right, let's hear it pronounced.
Strong's H2530. Hamad. Hamad.
All right. So, hamad. All right, it means to desire, to covet, take pleasure and delight in, to desire, to be desirable, to delight greatly, desire greatly. So, right off the bat, does this mean you can't desire anything? What does desire mean? Okay. Desire, a strong, often conscious feeling of wanting, wishing for, or craving something, spanning emotional, intellectual, and sensual gratification. Okay, now in that sense of the word, all right, that's going too much. But a lot of times words are dumbed down. They're like, oh yeah, I love that ice cream. Do you really love it? All right, because, you know, you love the Lord. Okay, well, you should at least. And you love your wife. Do you love ice cream? No, you don't really literally love ice cream. But Babylon has its, its figures of speech. All right, so people are like, oh yeah, you know, that's my, I desire to have that, right? And does that mean you're literally, desiring? All right, and bear with me just 1 minute. 1 minute. Nail decided to be doing something weird. 1 minute. Block you for that. Oh, decided it. Hangnail was bothering the hell out of me. Slack you for that. But it doesn't literally mean desire as in love, in the true sense of the word. All right, the Babylonian slang. All right, there's a lot of words just thrown around. For example, the one I use example a lot as mischief. All right. Mischief is not just playful tomfoolery, it's wickedness. But in Babylon, it's just, you know, a hand buzzer or a whoopee cushion. That's mischief. When real mischief would be going out and killing someone. That's mischief. That's wickedness. But again, you know, words change over time. And that's, again, why it's so important to get these words. And, you know, why I'm enjoying this, doing this series, is because a lot of words change. Hell, I'm even learning as we make this. So using the Johnson's dictionary and finding out the old actual meanings, all right, because meanings change, man. There's a lot of meanings that change, and Esau has been changing words over and over and over again, right? So, strongly wish for or want something. Now, this is a fine line, okay? Now, you fancy or want. Is it a sin to want something? No, it's not a sin to want something, okay? Is it wicked, all right, to fancy an item, all right, or have a preference, all right, or want a specific item, or, you know, for example, you see a car, here it is, you're buying a car, you see a blue one and you just have a preference, or you'd rather have a green one. Is it wrong? Is that wicked? No, that's not. All right, if you desire, I desire a green one, right? That's not wicked in the sense that the modern word is used, but desire, a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen. This can be a fine line, okay? A fine line. Because if you have a strong feeling of want, well, is it a strong feeling of want for that item? Is it a strong want of money? Is it a strong want of, you know, what exactly, you know, is it? Okay, because none of us can really tell you if you're doing something covetous from the outside unless we literally see you. Here it is, you bought 35 cars because you had this one, but you saw Ray down the street get this new car, so you bought a new car. Yeah, we could see that. But when it comes to wanting an item, what the hell is this music? Good Lord, slack you. But when it comes to wanting an item, we don't know your motivations behind it. Okay, you know, if you want an item, do you just want that item, or do you want it because someone else has it? All right, and you want to be like them, because now that's getting into covetousness. Okay, or is it just you saw the item on TV, said, "Wow, that's a cool item," and you wanted to get one because you liked it, like a video game system or a new pair of shoes, right? You have a sneaker app and you see a new pair of sneakers come out and you say, "Oh wow, those are really nice. I'd like to have those." All right. No, that's not necessarily covetousness. And also collecting, okay, is not necessarily covetousness either. All right, you have a sneaker collection, a video game collection, a music collection. Some people have a vinyl record collection. All right, now covetousness can manifest in a few different ways. That's why I say covetousness is really deep. There's a lot of depth to covetousness. For example, if you're dealing with records, all right, we'll use vinyl records as an example. And you have 375 vinyl records, right? Is there anything wrong with that inherently? No, nothing wrong with that. Now, how did you acquire them, or why did you acquire them? Okay, did you get 375 and, you know, because some other person had 365 and you just wanted to outdo them? Then that would be covetousness. Did you get them over time? All right, you say, "Oh, I wanted this album, then this album." Then of course that's not covetousness. All right, did you get them over time, but your one focus was on records? You only care about getting records. All right, that's covetousness. All right, you make it, essentially that's covetousness, and you're kind of making it into like those are like an idol to you. All right, that's your one desire. That's like the Lord should be your one true desire. All right, the one that means the most. All right, those records shouldn't mean the most to you. Okay. Or if you got 375, did you buy them all in one setting? All right. Did you buy them all in one setting? Now, more questions to be had. Did you find a lot on eBay and it just happened to have 375 and you got it for a good deal? Not covetousness. Or did you go out every single day before making your lessons, going out and buying a lesson, buying a record, like clockwork? That's covetousness. That's greed for gain. Again, it's covetousness is very deep because, again, you have to learn how to identify it, because it's only you can identify it. Well, of course, the Lord knows, but again, you know, there could be a whole chart. Okay, there could be a whole chart on covetousness. All right, maybe I'll make one. All right, but it's deeper than even a regular chart will go. So, it says, again, desire is a strong, often conscious feeling of wanting, wishing for, or craving something, spanning emotional, intellectual, and sensual gratification. So it acts as a powerful motivator, influencing the will to action, and can be expressed through longing or appetite. So see, the way that they're, you know, and yearning, aspiration, wish, and now the way they're explaining it here, this is leaning towards covetousness. The way that they're, you know, defining it. All right, really. So you see a desire, emotional excitement of the mind, directed to the attainment or possession of an object. All right. Now, again, it depends on the excitement. Are you going to be excited to get a new pair of shoes? Are you going to be excited to get a new video game? Duh. All right. You're going to be excited because you wanted that item and you wanted to, you know, wear it. All right. Or you wanted to play it. All right. Same thing with food. You're excited when your food comes out. Is that covetous? No, you're just excited because you wanted that because it looked good and you're hungry and you want to eat. right? So that there's going to be some level of excitement attached to it. But again, you got to learn how to identify what covetousness is, all right? And while the first word kamad, all right, doesn't give us the full scope of the word, we'll get the full scope of the word by the end of the lesson, Lord willing, because we got more definitions, and some of those definitions hit a little bit heavier. But this just means desirableness or preciousness. Now it says a covet or a delectable thing, a desire, a goodly or a lust, all right, a pleasant thing, a precious thing. It just depends, okay? For example, right here in Genesis 2 and 9, it's not used as covet, all right? It's used as, in verse 9, it says, and out of the ground made the Lord Yahweh to grow every tree that is pleasant, okay? So that, obviously is not dealing with covetousness. It says to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And of course, that's that tree that Eve just had to know. Eve had to know, all right, and really the spirit of Eve coaxed her along. But yeah, man. So that's what one sense of the word means. All right. Now, another one would be here in 1 Timothy 6 and 10. Now it says, 1 Timothy 6 and 10, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So right off the bat, we can do a little breakdown on that. While people, when people covet, they tend to err from the faith, all right? And why is that? Because I've mentioned it before. Covetousness is really a gateway sin. If you're coveting something and you're wanting something so bad that you must have it, and you're really placing that above the Lord, you're going to kill for it. You're going to steal for it. You're going to lie for it. All right. You're going to do whatever you have to do to get that item. All right. Someone that's coveting after money. All right. Guess what? They'll bend over the table and they'll let some, 1948ers, bang them up the rear. All right. That's going to set you into some horrible downward spiral into depravity. All right. Because you wanted something so bad, you were willing to do anything to get it. Okay, that's not the mindset to be in. The only thing we should want that bad is this truth, all right? And the truth doesn't require you to do no freaky shit like that, right? So going down in here, we're looking for the word coveted, all right? And it goes back to this word here. Here.
Strong's G 3713. Arrego.
So it sounded like he said arrego, all right? Which means to stretch oneself out in order to touch or grasp something, to reach after or to desire something, to give oneself up to the love of money, okay? What does it mean to give oneself up to the love of money? Let's get that. Let's ask ChatGPT about that. What does it mean to give oneself up to the love of money? We'll just let it explain. It says right here, the phrase to give oneself up for the love of money, for the love of money, gotta get that money, man. Anyway, block you. It says, means to completely surrender your values, priorities, or life. So you're gonna surrender your life, all right, to the pursuit of wealth. It suggests that money becomes the main driving force behind a person's decisions and behavior. It should be Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that is your main driving force behind your decisions and your behavior on how you act. All right? Shouldn't be money. Again, see, these things are becoming idols essentially. Right? That's when it's covetousness. You're putting it above the Lord. Okay? Can you have a pair of shoes? Yes. Can you like them more than you like the Lord? No. Okay? One's covetousness, one's not. Okay, one's covetousness and adultery, and then one's not. So you can take anything, right? You can take your phone. We all have phones, but if you love that more than the Lord, all right, and you want that item more than anything, you're coveting that item. It says key ideas in the phrase: give oneself up, to surrender control or devote yourself entirely to something. Here it is: you've devoted yourself entirely, all right, to collecting records. You don't make lessons. You don't, or if you do make lessons, you put them off, all right, or you don't care about them in any capacity, right? You much prefer a vinyl record, all right, give oneself up, to surrender control or devote yourselves entirely to something. And if someone was like, I'll give you 75 vinyl records for you to not make that lesson, you say, okay. All right. That's when you start being persuadable. Okay. Get out of here. Fucking gnat. All right. It says, love of money and excessive desire for wealth, often implying greed or materialism. All right. And materialism in its whole sense is covetousness. All right. Materialism, the philosophical doctrine that matter is the fundamental substance of nature and all phenomena, including consciousness. Not that one. Materialism. All right. Really, what does it mean to be materialistic? Okay, materialistic. Excessively concerned with material possessions, money-oriented. All right. Worldly, consumerist, money-oriented, money-grubbing. All right. There you go. So greedy. You know, that's what it means. The opposite would... Oh, boom. Look at that. We could end the lesson right there. Opposite. What is the opposite of materialistic? Spiritual. Religious. There you go. Also, intellectual. So there you go, man. There you go. Like, matter of fact, yeah. Let me just, you know what? That'll be perfect. All right. So yeah, to give oneself up for the love of money. And again, you know, it says right here, so together the phrase means allowing the desire to money to dominate your life, some at the expense of morality, relationships, personal well-being, spiritual or ethical values. So spiritual values. So money or you could replace that with an item, all right, taking over everything. Okay, you care about that more than you care about even really getting out of here. All right, being saved. You care. You're really. It's sucking you back into the world. Okay, that's covetousness. All right, with that. Let's go and get the Google. It says covetousness is an extreme, inordinate desire, out of order, right? And we just got the scripture of the day. Let everything be done decently and in order, right? It's inordinate. It's out of order. All right, an extreme, inordinate desire to possess wealth, possessions, or advantages, often belonging to someone else. That's another thing. Covetousness, oftentimes, is referring to wanting what another person has. Okay, that's usually what it's referring to. All right, 9 times out of 10. But it talks about intense greed, envy, and dissatisfaction with one's own belongings. You're not happy with what you have, never satisfied. Okay, never. You know, you're in that spirit of Esau. Right here, Ecclesiastes 10. This is how Esau is, right? Right here, 10 and 11. It says, Ecclesiastes 5 and 10 through 11. It says, "He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This is also vanity. When goods increase, they are increased that eat them, and what good is there to the owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes?" NIV says, "Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless. As goods increase, so do those who consume them, and what benefit are they to the owners except to feast their eyes on them?" Okay, and that's true. We know what benefit is a Nike to you. What benefit is a video game to you? What benefit is a in these things that you're storing up for yourselves, all right? Or not necessarily. I won't say storing up for yourselves because that's treasures upon earth. But these things are temporary, all right? What benefit is it to you? All right, you get to play it, yeah. But what real benefit is that? Is it going to save you? No. Is it going to help you? Is it going to get you closer to the Lord? No. Then it's not really beneficial. All right. Now, it doesn't mean you're wicked for getting it, but it's not necessarily beneficial. It's not something that's important. So don't make it into an importance, right? Don't make it into something that's that important. All right. Like you give up or something because, you couldn't get it or something, right? Nah, man. All right. If a lot of the times the Lord gives us what we need. All right. 100% of the time. And a lot of the time he'll even give us some of the things we want. All right. So you might, I try not to pray for material items. All right. Even if I want something real bad, if I end up getting something, I do still thank the Lord. Right. I still do thank the Lord, but I don't try to pray too often for something unless I'm trying to. I won't say I never do it, because I do it from time to time, but I try not to do it excessively. Right. I try not to make items the focus. All right. I try to make health and doing right and growing in this truth and things that of those types of importance. All right, more so are focused on in the prayer than an item. Generally, I don't pray about an item every single day. Like I said, every once in a while, if there's something I really wanted, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get it, or I might be a little bit short. All right, or you're trying to sell something and try to get a right price. Send up a prayer, right? But I try not to make it about money or wealth on a regular basis, right? Because again, it's not important at the end of the day. It's really not that important. Okay, health is important. Okay, being able to make a lesson, that's important. Okay, item, nah, not generally. All right, being able to pay bills, that's a different story. All right, that you need a roof over your head, right? If you're living in a house, or if you're living in a car, you keep that car over your head, or however you do, right? So, Ephesians 5, in verse 5, it says, "For this ye know that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man who is an idolater hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Hamashiach and of Yahweh." Now notice it says, "nor covetous man who is an adulterer." Okay? There you go. So it's comparing covetousness with an idolater. Now what is an idolater? Someone who worships idols. Okay? Someone who worships idols. Okay? Or representations of deity, or an item. All right, right here you can see this. Emphasize that idols, including self, wealth, or desires, never satisfied and lead to discontentment. Okay, so again, self wealth, all right, or self desires. That's idolizations. Okay, not idealizations, idolizations. All right, and the word for covetousness down here, all right, is this one. Let's hear it. Now, this one, I think, explains what covetousness is probably the best.
Strong's G 4123. Pleonectes. Pleonectes.
Pleonectes. And it comes from two different roots. It comes from pleon and echo, all right, which means echo.
Yeah, you can stay here until the arcade closes.
Come on.
Strong's G 2192. Echo. Echo.
All right, to have, own, possess. External things such as pertain to property or riches or furniture or utensils or goods or food, etc. All right, any of those things. Okay? And great. All right? Greater in quantity. All right? Very many. All right? So something in abundance, something in excess. All right? Having an abundance in excess. All right. Now, does that just mean having a bunch of items? No. No, it's about how you got them, how you are with them. Multiple different factors, okay? Now, the outline of the biblical usage here, I think, is the plainest out of all of them. It says, one eager to have more, especially what belongs to others. There you go. Greedy of gain, covetousness, okay? And it gives us some different words here. Avaricious, hence a defrauder, okay? So avaricious, what does this word mean?
Avaricious.
Okay? Having or having or showing an extreme greed for wealth or material gain. Okay? Covetous, greedy, rapacious. Okay? Materialistic. We just got that, right? Money grubbing. Okay? It says someone having extreme insatiable desire. It's unsatiable. Insatiable means to what? Not be satisfied. Never satisfied. Okay?
Insatiable.
Impossible to satisfy. All right, impossible to satisfy. So you're never satisfied no matter what. You wanted to have a baseball card, now you want 2 baseball cards. You have 2, now you want 4. You have 4, now you want 8. You have 8, now you want 12. And it never stops. It never stops. Going back to that scripture, you know, those that have silver never be satisfied with silver. Right? Now, again, there's 2 different types of people. There's one that'll have it and they'll be fine. There's other ones that'll constantly want more. Now, it's, again, having those items and, you know, stockpiling, you know, or putting your dollar into silver is not bad. But notice how Esau does it. If you ever want a bad example, all right, a good example of a bad example, look to Esau. All right, they'll have $1 billion, and here it is. They're defrauding people out so they can get $1,000. Here it is, you have $1 billion and you're defrauding someone out of 1,000, and that's the only 1,000 that they have, just so you can add in that. You're not going to even notice that 1,000 in your bank account. You have, you know, $5.8 billion, but you want that extra 1,000 for what? That's, you know, never satisfied. That's greed for gain, man. That's greed for gain. That's insatiableness. Okay, you wouldn't be satisfied if you had $10 billion. You wouldn't be satisfied if you had 20. You won't be happy until you have all the money in the world and no one else has any, and you'd still probably wish you could have something else. Right? That's how the Edomites are. That's a perfect example of what covetousness is. When they see someone else with something, they want it. All right? Even if they have to defraud them, even if they have to lie to them, steal from them, kill them, all right? They want that item and they'll do anything to get it. Right? So it's an extreme, insatiable desire for wealth or material gain, often imply a greedy or covetousness behavior. For example, you know, someone has 3 cookies, you have 8, but you just want their 3 too. All right? That's greed. All right? Don't you have enough? No, you'll never have enough. All right, and you want to take theirs because you don't think you have enough. Right? And another word it said here, let me open it back up, was defrauder. Hence a defrauder. Now, what is a defrauder? A person who deliberately deceives, cheats, or swindles others to wrongfully obtain money, property, or values. Again, erred from the faith. All right, this is the type of stuff that's talking about. Okay, you're willing to go and do, you know, break the law to get what you want. All right, and that's an evil mindset to be in. That's not the mindset that you should be in. So, another one, and this is the final scripture for the lesson, is Luke 12:15. And it says, "And he said unto him, Take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of things which he possesseth." And I closed out with this one because this is a good closing note as well, is your life does not consist on the amount of things that you have. Okay? It doesn't. Okay? It doesn't. As a matter of fact, you know, I got rid of some stuff, you know, the other day. So a lot of my game collection is gone, right? I got rid of most of it, right? I traded it in, right? Because a long time ago I had a Nintendo Switch and kind of wanted one again, and I shouldn't have sold it. You know, I sold it, you know, for another gaming related item. So I was like, man, I've been wanting one the last few days, but I don't want to spend no money on it. So I just traded in a bunch of my games and stuff, because the Xbox, I traded in all my Xbox collection, 360 collection, because again, the Xbox, anyway, I'm just rambling on. The Xbox disk drive decided to go off, so I just decided you can mod it, and it's already modded anyway, so I'll just do that and play the game backups that way, because the disk drive, you know, I'm not going to go through all the work to replace it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, doesn't matter, we don't have that much time. But yeah, traded all that stuff in. Traded in a bit more of my retro collection, traded in my PlayStation 2, traded in almost all my PlayStation 2 boxed copy of games. So really, I'm down, and I have one Switch, right? So really, I downsized items for one item that I wanted, right? So instead of just and all I had to pay out of pocket was $40, compared to what, $200 for a Switch. So yeah, man. So, you know, if you can trade stuff, all right? Remember, you know, back in the day, we used to barter, all right? We used to barter. So barter while you still can, because that's a phenomenon that's slowly going away. It's slowly going away, man. And if you have a PlayStation 2 Slim, they'll give you $85 at GameStop for it. And like I said, I liked it, all right? But it wasn't any point of having it just for what? Desire's sake, because I don't play it, man. I don't play it. I had that one since I was 13. There's not too much. I was already technically an adult. There's not too much of memories tied to that one. I had one that I grew up with when I first got it, and there was memories tied to that. But you know, all these things are going to go away. But I don't need to have no sentimental. Oh, it's a system. I don't play it. All right. It's there. If I do play games, I usually play them on my computer emulated, as far as the PlayStation 2, because they look better, they're upscaled, and you can increase the frame rate from a native 30 to 60. So I mean, blows it out of the park. Blows out, and there's widescreen patches. It blows out of the park. So it's no point in just having an item sitting around just to have it. An item to have just to have, right? So yeah, most of my collection, now that I think about it, I talked about this video game collection. I don't really have one. I really don't have one. I mean, I still have a case full of PlayStation 2 games, but yeah, I got rid of all that stuff. And again, at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean too much to me, because it's just stuff. Okay, it's just stuff. And like the scriptures say, a man's life consists not on the abundance of things which he possesseth. Okay, now, are having some of those things going to make your life, quote unquote, a little bit better? Yes. All right, having a car is going to make it easier for you to get there. Having some shoes, all right, that's going to make it easier for you to walk from one place to another. All right, having some video games, some VHSs or DVDs. I still have my VHS collection, right? And that's another thing that's going to go be messed with, all right? Because now everyone, I heard the new thing is that people are going back to VHSs and DVDs. All right, I got back into it because I like the retro shit and because of the physical media. But people are feeling like they're being robbed out of these. See, we're reverting, man. We're like reverting in time. I'm rambling right now, but slack you. Bear with me, brothers and sisters. We're reverting in time because here it was. We had, the VHSs, and then, we had, what was it? Betamax, then laser, or was it Laserdisc, then, Betamax, then Laserdisc, then VHS, I think, or VHS and Laserdisc might have been side by side. Anyway, and then you got DVD, and then you got HD DVD, then you got Blu-ray, and that's pretty much where it stopped. But yeah, man. And then we got in the time of right around DVD or UHDVD, ultra high definition DVD or whatever it was like one summer that shit was even around. Then, streaming got big, all right? And streaming really evolved alongside with DVDs because that's how Netflix started out, was being able to rent DVDs. But then once internet was good enough, all right, and it wasn't constantly buffering all the time or only a minor buffer, you could stream it online, all right? And then they had everything, if you remember the original Netflix, man. Any fucking thing you were trying to look, they had it. And then Netflix, and then Hulu, and then Paramount Plus, and then not in any particular order, then HBO Max, then Prime Video, then Disney Plus, then all these different things. And so now you have like 3 movies you want to watch on Disney, you got 2 movies you want to watch on Hulu, 5 shows on Netflix, 1 movie, all right, 2 shows on Paramount. And it's like, and these things, when you first got them, they were like $7 or $9 a month. I don't even know what Netflix is now, because I'm just on my family members, but Netflix price per month. I'm very thankful to have like my aunt. She has a YouTube Premium, and I'm in the family with her, so I get that for free. And then between the relatives, they gave me access to just about every streaming site. So Netflix $7.99 to $24.99. So with ads, $7.99 a month. I've never heard of that. Is that really so? I guess so. Okay. Well, with ads, but if you want it without ads, which most people do, it's $18. I remember when it was like $10 to get it. When I first got it, I think I was like 18. Okay? I think I was 18, and I got it. I was with a girl at the time, and I think it was $7.99. And for regular no ads, just regular 1080p, 2 supported devices, right? And I think that was $7.99, and that was with no ads. Okay, now it's $10 more off that if you want the no ads. Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. And if you want 4K, that's almost $30 a month. Mind you, this is for one streaming service. One streaming service. If you want something else, you're gonna have to go to Hulu, all right? Or you're gonna have to go and basically do the online blockbusters, all right? When you have to go and look. If you want to see Jeepers Creepers, and then you type in stream, all right, and then it'll tell you exactly where you can get it. All right, well, you can watch it on Tubi for free, all right, with ads, or you can rent it at Fandango or Amazon Prime. They're probably the best ones for $3. But I mean, paying $3 for every movie you want to watch, that's gonna add up. All right, that's gonna add up for sure. But yeah, man. Anyway, just wanted to say that. But now, and this shows you that Babylon is regressing. I had a point. Babylons are regressing because now everybody hates that. You have to pay so much. A lot of them have ads anyway. So now, guess what they're doing? They're going back to buying DVDs. Some people are going back to buying VHSs to make them feel, like, that retro nostalgia, right? That's what I did. DVDs, I like VHSs. They're better. They're cooler. I grew up more with VHSs, so that was my memory of Blockbusters, going in and picking up a VHS. The DVDs too, but a lot of time it was VHSs. And yeah, man, it's just Also, I grew up, more poor, so when the DVDs were having, we were still a VHS family until like a couple more years, until they got more affordable. But it's crazy that here it is, all these technological advancements, and everybody wants to just go back to throwing a DVD and a PlayStation 2 at this point, and the video games, used to with a PlayStation 2, or even if you emulate. There was minor internet connectivity, right? We'll just use a Sega Genesis, right? Because they didn't have any internet connectivity. You got the system, right? You didn't have to pay for online. You didn't have to pay for a subscription or a membership or Genesis Online or Genesis Live or any of these different things. You didn't have to do that. And then when you bought the game, there was no DLC. All right. If you bought Sonic, you got Sonic. You got the whole game. Everything that there was that they planned for that game was in that game. And that was it. You put it in, you play it, bam. You don't have to wait for a patch. You don't have to wait for some type of crazy update. You don't have to worry about playing through the game and then not having the DLC or a microtransaction or nothing. So now people are, retro gaming is booming. Retro gaming is booming, right? Which sucks for the people that are like grew up with that type shit, because now, if you want to play those games from your childhood, now you're going to be bought out by someone who's 14 years old and is trying to dress like you dressed, is talk like you dress, look at the music that you dress, all right, and play the games that you played. And that's crazy, man. I know I'm getting old. I'm only 30, but, I know I'm getting older because I have kids cosplaying as me in middle school and high school, right? They're listening to the same type of music, dressing the same way. I have some shirts that I grew up with. There's a shirt that I have that goes for $300 now because it's a vintage tee. It's a shirt, man. But they want to dress like we did. They want to wear our hand-me-downs and pay double for them. So, I mean, if you brothers got shirts you want to sell, now's the time to now's the time to do it. If you got an old Nike shirt from the 80s or 90s, you can make a lot of money. All right, you got an old Cool in the Gang shirt, you could sell that for a lot of money. Old metal bands or rock band shirts, you got an old Queen shirt, all right, man, you can sell that shit for a lot of money, man. All right, because it's just, we're regressing in society. Anyway, getting back on top of the lesson, but I just want to say that has anybody else seen that it's weird that we're regressing. The kids are dressing like the 90s, all right? They're listening to the 90s music. They want the 90s video game system. All the older video games, even newer as the 3DS, those things are going up in price because kids want those things. Why not? No, stick with your PlayStation 5s, man. Right, that you have to update every time you click it on. You got to update your control, and then you got to update the game and get a day one patch. And then when you do that, you got to play that, and then the DLC comes out, and it's actually just content that was removed from the development of the game. And then you got to buy it back anyway, so you can get the full game. And you have to pay $100 for the complete edition of the game, because if you pay the $70 when it used to be $60 for a new game, now it's $70 for a new game. Yeah, see, everything's gone. It's funny, man. Babylon is going to shit, and it's funny because the kids are noticing it. All right, not kids, but the younger adults. All right, the 14, 15-year-olds, they're still adults, but they're noticing that everything sucks. So they're going back and playing retro stuff and watching retro things and listening to retro things and dressing retro and shit, man. Well, the good thing is that there's another war in the Middle East, so you'll get to experience what the early 2000s were like just a little bit. Anyway, slack you for that. But Luke 12:15, it says, "And he said unto them, Take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in abundance of things which he possesseth." Okay, so it doesn't matter how many things you have. The Lord's not going to stop his chariot. If you're a part of elect, he's not going to stop the chariot by and say, get your stuff. All right, won't want to forget it. It's so important. No, nope, your stuff's not coming with you. All right, my stuff. Inside joke. But it says where covetousness, right? G4124, and the word here is plex. Let's hear it pronounced.
Strong's G 4124. Pleonoxia. Pleonoxia.
Pleonoxia, and it means simply greedy desire to have more. A greedy desire to have more, and this word here, what is it? Avarice.
Avarice.
All right, avarice, extreme greed for wealth or material gain. Okay, so an insatiable, excessive desire to gain or hoard wealth or material possession, often synonymous with intense greed or cupidity. Again, hoarding. For example, I've seen some people, again, going back into, the things that I like, because those are the ones I can explain, retro gaming. If, I sold the PlayStation 2, if I could get one back for a very good price, would I get one again? Probably. All right, probably if I could get one for a good price. But I've seen people online, on Reddit, in these communities, retro gaming communities and stuff, they'll have a stack of like 15 PlayStation 2s. They're like, added a new one. For what? And they're not, don't mind you, they're not real collectors like doing like museum like collecting. It's not like they got one of every color. They'll have, 20 PS2 Fats, all right? 15 PS2 Slims, all right? 32 PlayStation 1. For what? What are you doing with 31 PlayStation 1s? I can understand if you have one and then one as a backup, all right? Maybe even 3. One is a backup, one is the one you play, and one is the backup to the backup. But any more than 3, right? That's even 3 is already getting excessive. 2 is like, that's it, all right? 2 is it, all right? I would say 3, that's like the last thing I could even see as being acceptable, all right? But, just having it to have it. All right, just having to have, just greed for gain, man. Just wanting it, just to have it. Not because you really even want it or want to use it, just having it to have it. All right, a possession for possession's sake. Okay, just doing it to do it. All right, that's ridiculousness, and that's ultimately what covetousness is. Okay, that's ultimately what it is. And going back to Luke 12 and 15, remember. Right, verse 15, and he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of things which he possesseth. So that's a lesson, and that's where we're going to close out. So slack you for the little ramble at the end there, right? Hopefully the lesson was edifying. All right, if there's any questions to be had, drop them down below. We're going to close out there. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.